Hello and greetings. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tanya here with the 23rd episode already of Activating the Witch Within. Thank you so much for joining here with me today. And I apologize. I was MIA last week and was not feeling good. I'm still pretty congested and a little throaty. So if I cough or sneeze or anything like that, I apologize in advance. Hi, Diane. Hi, Monica, or Dean, sorry. Nice to see you here today. So I wanted to talk a little bit about energy healing and PTSD. So it's a topic that probably doesn't get as much attention as it should. And it also, there's a lot of heaviness around it. So I want today's conversation with transmission for just softening and peace that will come through with it to be really supportive and to, hi Destin, and to, help to kind of, lessen the charge around it so it's not so heavy. I'm a survivor recoverer of PTSD, and when I was in the middle of it, and this was after being in the healing arts for many years, giving lots of treatments, giving, and I had that kind of breakdown moment where I just gave too much and there was nothing left to give, and I went into a very dark night experience, and had old trauma that got re-triggered, and then also had new trauma to deal with. So it was kind of, hi Susan, so it was kind of a three, kind of a perfect storm of sorts. And I had kind of given up. I was pretty much at the point, hey, I've done everything I can do to heal this. I've done everything, I've gotten the support. I've tried to, fix it this way and fix it that way. And, my best days are behind me, and this isn't going to get any better. And at one point, I just kind of declared, universe, I'm done. Show me the way, and why I've had to go through all of this. And in the middle of it, it really felt like it was much bigger than me. And I think anybody who, no matter where the PTSD came from, can probably relate to that it just feels so much bigger than what, you have the capability of dealing with. And, I'm here to tell you today it's not bigger. But when the mind comes in and says that it is bigger, it really, it's almost as if we've been brainwashed against ourselves. And that this autopilot trigger of, it could be paranoia, it could be stress, it could be anxiety, it could be a fear of being around other people, safety issues. I mean, it can come up in a whole host of different ways. And when in the middle of that trigger, it can feel so much bigger than you. And then to be able to calm down and give your brain what it needs to remember the truth that you are safe and that you are going to get through this. Yes, we are all so much bigger. And let's see, Susan says, yes, we are so much bigger. Justine says I'm helping her right now. Yes, I am. And I'm awesome. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the support and help. She's getting me through a very dark place and bringing me into the light. Oh, I don't want it to take you or anyone else longer than it needs to get to where you are comfortable in your own skin. And that is one of my big whys on doing the work that I do, is because it took me so long to be okay with being me again. And the me today is different than the me before the PTSD. And I was trying so hard to be that person again and to find her and to, bring her back into, my now today me. And what I realized is that she's always been with me. and that I had to retrain my brain to the beauty and the miracle that I am. And as I retrained my brain, I realized that, I didn't have to live with this suffering that felt bigger than me anymore. So, if you were in the middle of kind of a healing crisis, or of, not feeling like you're, gonna get to the other side of it, you can get to the other side of it. It is possible, but you have to believe in yourself. And you have to, even on your rough days, and even on your bad days, and even in the times where you think you're gonna give up, you have to remember that the spark inside of you that gets you out of bed every day, the spark inside of you that has put one foot in front of the other, even when you were crawling, that you were still moving forward. Something inside of you has propelled you forward. Something inside of you has been doing the steps. And that spark is your own unique miracle. That spark is always there. It's always here for you, even in the darkest of places. That light and that spark is there and can be ignited to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. I have past life trauma as well. Or hold on, let me see what Susan said. We can shortcut this for sure. It does not have to be so long and painful, as we didn't come here to suffer. Absolutely. And, for whatever reason, it took me as long as it did to get to, where I feel safe, where I don't feel like I'm being chased, to where I don't feel like I'm being hunted, where I don't feel like I have to look behind my shoulder every minute of every day and have this constant anxiety, underneath the surface of all things. And, and I was great at masking it with positivity and with, putting a smile on my face at all times. I was really, really, really good at masking it, but underneath the smile, there was a whole lot of pain. And I had a lot of past life trauma to come through, where I had past life memories and I was starting to remember things, and where I was very confused by the messages I was getting. And it took me some time to unpack that, and also to take the value out of it that I was giving to it. That a lot of, the meaning that I was placing on these memories and on these experiences, the heaviness of it, the meaning I was giving to it was so much. And the moment that I started taking the value out of the meaning that I was giving to it, I experienced more freedom. And then when I took the value out of that, I experienced more freedom. And today I'm not worried about, anybody can throw any energy at me. I'm reading Destine's comments right now. Anybody can throw any energy at me that they want, and it can't touch me, because I know it can't touch me. But when you're in the middle of feeling unsafe, of feeling triggered, when your brain is in the process of being hardwired to be in fear, to be feeling unsafe, to be worried about what other people are doing, or what this energy is doing and what that's doing, when we go into the fear, we become victims all over again. We ignite that victim consciousness and we say, okay, yep, go ahead, attack away. And, and it can impact us and affect us, because we are giving, it's so much power over us to do so. And the moment we take our power back and step into the truth of our being and the truth of who we really are, nothing can touch us. Nothing. And that is the safety that comes with knowing where our soul's home is. I do a process with people where it's a quantum fiber optic tube of light that my team gave me. And at the beginning of the process, it's a visualization, mixed with some magic, where we, go back to the birth of your soul. And in that place, at the birth of your soul, you can feel the vibration. You know, I'm sitting here holding a container for you to feel into this vibration of the birth of your soul. And when you start to bring in that vibration in the moment, in the here and now, you start to bring in that vibration of your true soul's home as a being of perfect love and light and oneness with all things. The rest really does start to fall away. And that muscle, that oneness, I call it a oneness muscle, right? That oneness muscle gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger than any problem. It gets bigger than any crisis. It gets bigger than any curse, than any negative thought that, whether it's coming outside or inside. It gets bigger and bigger, and you can start seeing what's triggering you as mirrors. You can start seeing all of the contrast as the gift that it is, showing you where you're not loving yourself. That was, in one of my most painful, painful relationships. I had completely forgotten who I was. I had allowed somebody to basically hijack my mind and say, no, you are this worthless piece of shit, because I heard it every minute of every day. It is what it felt like. You can't do anything. You're, shitty mom. You're this, you're that. And I started to believe it. And it was a slow process. It took years for me to go from the confident, very self-assured woman that I was to this meek, lowly, shell of who I had once been. And I blamed this person for a really long time. I mean, it was all his fault that, I, went there. And it took me a really long time to take responsibility that he was just showing me all the places I wasn't loving myself. And the moment I got that, he was just showing me how I really felt about me. And I'm not going to shoot the messenger anymore. I'm not going to blame him. He's not worth my energy to blame. But it took me a really long time, to get that. And all of that energy I spent, mad at this kind of reptile, personality type for coming in and hijacking my life, and I was just like, no, I'm taking my power back. I'm taking my sovereignty back. You can't touch me, because I'm going to love myself, and I'm going to love all those places that you showed me where I wasn't loving myself. Oh, the audio keeps cutting out. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. I've been kind of working with my internet connection, and if I think other people hop on to devices here at the house, it kind of can slow it. So if it gets really bad, Destine, let me know, and I can stop the recording and maybe start again. So is there any other guidance that wants to come through on this? So, coming back to one of the past live traumas was, one of the medicine women lives that I was in, where I was the village midwife, medicine woman, and they basically turned on me and tied me to a tree and left me there to die. And this memory came back in various stages throughout life. And, I had friends that would kind of jokingly talk about, oh, you're, kind of jokingly call me a witch and jokingly say that I had magic. And anytime I had heard that younger in life, I rejected it. No, I'm not a witch. No, I'm not this. And part of the title even of this show, Activating the Witch Within, was me saying, guess what? I'm going to honor my many, many, many lifetimes as a witch. And it's okay. I'm going to help to demystify and, not that naming the show is going to do that, but, just I think the more of us who are out there saying it's okay to, be a practicing witch today. It's okay. And it doesn't have to look like this, and it doesn't have to look like that, and it doesn't have to ascribe to this dogma, and it doesn't have to, have any meaning other than activating the magic that's inside of us all. We all have intuition. We all have gifts. You, whoever is listening, whether you're listening now or on the replay, you have gifts that only you, out of the 7.5 billion of us, you have a special gift to share that only you can share. And this show is, my weekly blessing to help people to activate that magic that's dormant inside of you. And I do have an offering today. I am doing a free remote healing a little later this afternoon on my page, my Facebook page, Tanya James Coach. You will see a healing thread. You can comment on that and be included. It's a higher self activation that we're going to be doing. And today we're just going to do a little anxiety release and PTSD soothing. We'll call it like a PTSD balm. And the team's coming in, or has been in the whole time, but the team's coming in right now, and you can just be open to receive. And even if you haven't had any, major life traumas, or you may not, be, dealing with PTSD, this works for any kind of trauma of any sort. And we've all experienced some, if we've been walking around on this planet and not in a yurt somewhere by ourselves our whole life. And even then we probably would have chased by something at some point living in the wilderness. But any kind of trauma this works for. So just going ahead, if it's safe to do so, close your eyes, arriving in this here and now moment, clearing out your field. So the team is just kind of coming in and clearing out all people. This is all people who are not your children, who might be under 18. Clearing out. Clearing out your field of all people, places, things, ideas, vows, contracts, oaths, promises, agreements, curses, whether they're known or unknown, ill wishes, remote viewers, removing anything in your home that is not resonating at the frequency of love or above. Now, and this is good for anybody watching live or on the replay. So just be open to receive and just seeing a light flooding every cell of your being, every aspect of your energy body, and your entire home. Every cupboard, every drawer, every nook and cranny of your home just being flooded with light, and knowing that anything that is not resonating at the frequency of love or higher is exiting now. And they say that's done. So just feel what this feels like for a second. This is what your energy feels like, removed from the collective, if you're empathic and feeling all the chaos, from any kind of external influences that you may think are happening, and they may or may not be happening, but the moment your brain goes to it's happening, then it's so. Our minds are so incredibly powerful. They are so powerful. Our thoughts are things. Our thoughts are things. And when we can just start thinking what we want. I know it's simple. It's simple. That doesn't make it easy. Taking the value out of what I call the itty bitty shitty committee. So I call my negative self-talk the itty bitty shitty committee. So the team is giving a healing for anyone who might have, that's probably all of us, who might have an itty bitty shitty committee running of old tapes. Old tapes from our parents, old tapes from teachers, old tapes from, ex-partners or, friends who we thought were friends but weren't, and, tapes from childhood, tapes even from previous lives of being betrayed, being abandoned, being hurt, all of these tapes, you're not good enough, all of these tapes, oh, you can't have that. You're not worthy of that. All the unworthiness. So they're just going to go in and give all of our itty bitty shitty committees that think that we're not worthy, that think that we can't heal, that think that we can't be safe, that think that we can't be sovereign, all of that. I'm removing now. And you can almost feel it like wind, just activating the brain centers to be supportive. And letting that itty bitty shitty committee know that it's loved. I love you. Even though you're not being my best friend right now, even though this thought may not be the best thought that I could be thinking right now, I love you anyways. I don't see you separate from me. You can come home. You can come home to the truth of who you are. And as all of these kind of, we'll call them outdated thought forms, outdated belief systems, replacing all of that with peace. Now, with tranquility now. And I'm seeing them dropping honey on the top of everyone's head. So this is liquid, light-filled honey of safety, of protection. And just feeling that warmth coming down. Filling up every cell, every atom, every space of your being with light. With light. Just letting this honey liquid light trickle down, surrounding your body with protection, with safety. Activating within you whatever your body needs, mineral-wise, vitamin-wise. I'm hearing getting in the dirt would be great for some of you. Drinking activated water, just holding your water and setting the intention of love, light, healing into your water, and even holding that water in your mouth for a couple of seconds when you take a deep breath or when you take a deep drink, and just holding it in your mouth and saying, I am love. This water is love. I am drinking love. And if you're hopping on now, definitely feel free to rejoin or to pop back and listen to the replay. We're in the middle of receiving a very deep peace activation for tranquility, for easing symptoms of anxiety, overwhelm, stress, depression, negative thinking. There's a lot of mother energy here. And this is divine mother healing energy. Healing all wounds associated with mother. And this could be mother's mother, mother's 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 mother. Just sending healing to your entire mother's line. Of feeling divinely supported by our Great Mother Earth and replacing all of the outdated mother wounding programs with this divine highest aspect of mother, fueling our hearts, bringing light to our hearts, bringing the love to our hearts, reminding us, reminding you of the miracle that you are, and letting go of all the mom wounds. Not that they're bad, not making these lines right or wrong, good or bad, honoring that they have their stories. That these miscreations in our family line didn't happen because they wanted to hurt future generations. They have their stories to tell, and they have their experience to share. And a lot of times, just giving them that honoring, thank you for doing the best that you can, even if you spent most of your life miscreating. Thank you. I wouldn't be here if you hadn't come here and miscreated to get me here, right? And just letting that soften the line and just sending your line love and forgiveness and honoring their journey and honoring their experience. The good, the bad, the right, the wrong, the pretty, the ugly, it's all oneness when we come down to it. It's just here in this dense reality, we can see ourselves separate from the truth. We can see ourselves separate from all that is. That's part of, the fun of being here, so to speak, because when we're not in this physical form, we know we're love. We know the truth. And we come down here to bring that truth into form and to experience the other. But we can heal. So just again, a reminder for anyone who it's been a very intense time for a lot of people. A lot of the session work that's been happening in the last couple of weeks especially has been very intense, a lot coming up for people. And people are remembering past lives more and more. They're not used to it. It feels uncomfortable. Why am I seeing these things that, why am I dreaming of myself 50 years ago? Why is this stuff happening? And not trying to analyze everything. It doesn't matter sometimes where the things are coming from. By assigning it a name or a label, now you're giving your brain something more to try to control. We are in charge of our brains. Our brains are not in charge of us. And the more we can give our brains good food, meaning positive and love and and happy thoughts, and then giving it comfort when it needs the comfort, the more we can kind of retrain our brain to be working with us as the wise adult we are. Instead of so many times, when we're in that reactivity place, when we're in that life is happening to me place, when we're in that I got to figure this out phase. I've got to figure this out. I've got to figure this out. I got to figure this out. You're just exactly where you're meant to be. And yeah, it sucks that we experience pain. It sucks we didn't know who that was or why this happens. It sucks that we had to go through what we had to go through. I like to say, a lot that our higher selves were very, very, very ambitious. We didn't plan our Earth School curriculum from the human perspective. It wasn't like somebody came down and said, we're 16 sitting there. Okay, what are all the lessons? What are all the lessons that you want to learn in this lifetime as a 16-year-old? Oh, you want to be homeless? Oh, great. No, nobody would ever do that, right? We want it to be easy. We want it to be fun. And the thing is that it can be easy and it can be fun and we can let go of the suffering. But in order to do that, we have to remember who we are. And in order to remember who we are, we have to put down our badge of self-destructive pain. We have to put down the self-criticism badge. We have to put down the self-judgment badge. We have to put down the I'm not good enough badge. That's for everybody else badge. It's not for me. We have to know with every fiber of our being that we are just as valuable, we are just as worthy as every baby being born right now, as every eagle flying in the sky, as every dolphin swimming in the ocean. We are just as worthy of happiness. We are just as worthy of deserving. We are just as whole and perfect and complete. And nothing can touch us if we believe that nothing can touch us. Our thoughts are things and they are powerful. So think happy thoughts about ourselves. And when, you're not thinking a happy thought, oh, what do you need? I'm sorry you feel that way. You embrace that part of you like a toddler having a tantrum. Oh, I'm so sorry that you feel that way. Oh, I'm so sorry you're thinking that thought. What do you need? What can I give to you? And a lot of times it's a hug. And you can give yourself a hug. Sometimes when I was in the middle of the hardest part of my recovery, I'd go in the mirror and I would say, I love you into my eyes until I could feel it. Until I could feel the love flowing out of my eyes and into the mirror. I would say, I love you again and again and again until I could feel it and I started crying. Because at that time I had kind of gotten numb to tears and I wouldn't even let myself cry anymore because I'm like, okay, I'm just never going to stop crying, so I might as well stop because it's easier to be numb. Right? So just giving that part what it needs. And it's usually love. It's usually acceptance. It's usually comfort of some form, of some way. And, reach out for support. So I specialize in energy healing. Excuse me, I've got a cold, but, I specialize in using energy healing tools to, unpack. Oh, excuse me. Oh, they're still working. Hold on. Wow. My body just got really flooded with heat. Oh, they're still unraveling something, so hold on. Whew. I wish we wait. What I wish we So that was for somebody who was either watching live or on the replay who may be having some anxiety while they're watching this. And there's an example of the energy healing. So my team and my guides will come in, that's the light language that comes through, and give a vibrational hug, some vibrational medicine to help ease the symptoms. So if you're watching this and we're experiencing some kind of maybe a hot flash or some sort of anxiety or some sort of panic, and I started coughing and then the healing came through. Was that you, Justine? Oh my gosh. I literally felt like my body was going to go on. It was like fire, and I usually don't feel too much physically. Sometimes I do, but that was intense. So, just, energy healing can be an amazing tool. I had seen, and I'm not discounting traditional therapy at all. I'm not a licensed healthcare practitioner. I should definitely premise this. I don't, diagnose, prescribe, treat illness. So people who, are seeking medical care, great. I am definitely an adjunct therapy. So a lot of my PTS clients are also in some sort of Western therapy too, and that's totally fine. But when I was really in the thick of healing, I had gone to Western providers. I was doing the homework, I was doing the stuff, and I wasn't really getting any results. And then somebody, an angel, earth angel, dropped in and started giving me energy healing sessions with the coaching piece to start getting a handle on rewiring my brain that had been basically hijacked against me at that point. So, I had the itty bitty shitty committee had taken over the building literally. And through the energy, and by the way, this happened after getting a master's in coaching, by the way. So I had already gone and, gotten trainings and had been in the healing arts for a long time. And, was a regular yoga practitioner, meditated all the time, and it didn't matter. And I think that was part of the reason why I felt such that strong inner knowing to, or that this, not inner knowing, but this strong inner, like, heaviness, thinking, okay, that healing isn't for me. I've done it all. I've tried everything. Nothing's going to work for me. I'm just going to, my best days are behind me. What's the point, right? Of at least trying to be happy. I was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to be miserable for the next 50 years. Oh, well. And looking back, I can hear the lie and how silly that sounds. But in the moment of, being in the middle of it, it can really not feel like there's a light at the other end of the tunnel, and there is. So the way energy healing can help is, with a combination of visualization and well, then it's still, the energy is still running, so I'm trying to talk and run the energy at the same time. Okay, that's done. So everybody who's received this healing today received at 100%. Good job, everybody. And everyone has integrated partially. So some of you have integrated all of it all right away. Others, it's going to take a few days for it to fully land and integrate. So basically, the energy work with the visualization helps build a bridge between the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. So the conscious mind that got kind of rewired against yourself, you actually go in and create the new thought forms that can help to kind of counteract that that tampering with the mind, so you can start to now, relay a new foundation of self-love with which to build on. And you're giving those things, those parts of you, those fragmented pieces, those parts that experienced trauma, those parts that experienced the contrast, you're giving those parts with what you need, and you're also letting the past go. You're actually letting it go. You know, so many of us have our bags of shit that we're carrying around with us, and we've been carrying around since we were 2 or since we were 15 or from past lives. And you'll see this with couples all the time where, you know, everybody's, you know, got their Santa sack of stuff that they've got, and then they, you know, meet their beloved, and then their beloved's got their sack. And instead of actively emptying their sacks, you know, as individuals and together, we you know, we just put the sacks all in together, and now we have one big collective bag of shit that we don't know whose is what. And, you know, maybe we'll take something out. So I've got my sack, right? And I take something out and I love it and I shine it and I polish it and I love you so much. And instead of recycling it and letting it go, letting it be in the past where it belongs, it's not real. It's already happened. It can't affect you today, right? Instead of letting it go, what do? We put it back all nice and shiny back in the pack and say, okay, I'm going to carry it around a little bit longer. It's not like, you know, it's not like my bag isn't big enough. I've got to make it bigger. So I'm just going to put it back. And we do that all the time. We take something out, we look at it, we unpack it a little bit, we make it nice and shiny, and we put it back in instead of letting it go for good. So part of this beautiful process my team gave me of using this quantum cord of light that goes to the birth of your soul and creates this container for all of these contrasting experiences to be transmuted within. So we actually call in all timelines, we call in every single past life, every single physical aspect of you that you've ever been is sitting there collectively holding this cord while the team, the angels, the ascended masters, the guides, while the, you know, are holding the energy of seeing all of this contrast pulling out of your experiences. It's not that they didn't happen. It's not that you're erasing them, but you're no longer being weighed down by the contrast that you've experienced, by the separation that you've experienced from the beginning of the time of your soul until now. It's a huge release, and it's gentle and it's loving, and it's so the profound shifts I have seen people have during the session have been mind blowing. I mean, I cry. I have goosebumps head to toe. I am in awe at the miracles that this process has been giving people. It has been my absolute joy to have been able to share this work since they have been gifting it to me. So if you are interested in receiving one of these sessions, I will throw a calendar link in the comments for a free 15-minute consult with me. And, you know, we can talk about, you know, what's going on with you, how I can support you. And, you know, maybe you just want to do one session of the quantum fiber optic tube. Maybe you want to do a series so we can kind of figure out what would work best for you and go from there. But it has been my absolute pleasure sharing this work out because of the profound shifts that I have seen people make on a daily basis using this process of just letting the separation go. You know, anytime we've been in a physical body, we experience some sort of separation. And to be able to pull all that contrast out in one session and really allow it to drop away from your field 100% so you don't have to be weighed down anymore. That doesn't mean life's not going to throw you curveballs. That doesn't mean you're not going to have challenges ahead. That doesn't mean that, you know, we're stopping the wheel and getting off. And, you know, it just means that we're not letting the past determine our future any longer. And if you're like me, who had to go through a lot of suffering before I finally woke up to the truth of who I am, you don't need to wait another day. The world needs you in your fullness, in your light, in your high vibration now. It needs all of us now. It doesn't need us in this murky, itty-bitty, shitty committee. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. Who am I to shine my gifts? Who am I to do, you know, these things? No, the world needs you now. and it needed, me yesterday is what I felt like. And I felt really behind for a long time. Like, oh my God, I'm so behind. I have all this No, I'm right where I'm meant to be. And you are right where you're meant to be. And we are all doing this vibrational, ascension process for the planet together. We're not here to drag. I think I heard another channel I follow, Sarah Landon. Yeah, she said recently, we're not here to drag the 3D into the 5D, kicking and screaming. We're not here to do that. And I loved it when she said that, because it's like totally right on the money. No, we're not. We're not here to drag all of the suffering, all of the past, all of the contrast, all of the injustices, all of the crap. We're not here to drag that into a new vibrational world. We're here to leave that behind. So I really do think that this process was, gifted to all of us to start using, so we can leave it behind energetically, vibrationally speaking. We're not carrying it with us, and we can approach today and tomorrow with a clean slate. That is one of the most beautiful comments that I get from the clients and the people that work with me is, Tanya, you gave me a clean slate in life. And I tell them, no, you gave it to yourself. You just happened to hire me to help facilitate that, right? But you were ready to give yourself that clean slate, and you just needed some hand holding. And, whether it's me or another healer that you might be called to work with, we're all deserve some hand holding. We all deserve some support. And, if I can support you, I'll have my calendar link in the comments. Please reach out, book a free consult. I love meeting new people. I love talking to you and supporting you in whatever capacity that I can. And thanks so much, everybody, for chiming in today and for talking and for, tuning in to this weekly offering. I will definitely be here next week, same time, same place. And until then, happy November, everyone. And I hope you have a beautiful, magical, blessed, and amazing rest of your day. Okay, bye for now.